It's Friday on the beat after quite a week, so you know it's time to fall back. I am joined by hip-hop producer and DJ extraordinaire Just Blaze, who's produced top hits for artists like Jay-Z, Kanye West, Eminem, 17 Billboard Top 100 hits. To his credit, 7 Grammy nominations. He's also featured as a character in a video game, NBA Street Volume 2, Goals. And we're also joined by MSNBC's own Ayman Mohyeldin, who was on the ground covering the revolution in Egypt. He's one of the first Western journalists to cover the trial of Saddam Hussein from inside Iraq. He now, of course, anchors Morning Joe's First Look each weekday and the breakdown 4 p.m. on Sundays. You guys are busy people.
Yes.
More so. Just Blaze, who needs to fall back?
Oh, man. You know what? Big game sport hunters. Not a fan of hunting in general, but there was an incident, this executive from Illinois earlier this week. Yeah, this clown hat guy. Shot a line while he was sleeping. The video just surfaced. I think it's corny. I think it's very cowardly. There's no sport involved in that to me. If you're hunting to eat, that's one thing. If you're hunting just to hunt and just to kill an animal and hang its head on the wall, I don't respect that.
And to hunt a sleeping beast.
Yeah, and you know, there's no sport involved in that. The way I look at it, you want to impress me? Go fight that lion with your bare hands, knuckles, teeth, and then come back and talk to me. And in the words of my good friend LP, hunting's no fun when your prey doesn't move.
Truth.
Indeed.
Truth.
It's corny, it's cowardly.
Ayman Mohyeldin, who needs to fall back?
All right, so you know, journalists is kind of like an unspoken rule. You don't want to try to criticize other journalists, but this week in Toledo, Ohio, a group of news anchors were trying to kind of be cool, be millennial, and they were trying to speak to their viewers in what some thought was a condescending way.
When trying to be cool goes wrong in the news. All right, let's take a look.
Good morning, TPS students. It is testing week, and it's time to slay all day.
Yeet! Stay woke, be on fleek, and get that Gucci breakfast.
Goals. Say bye, Felicia, to that testing stress. Weather's going to be turned, right, Chris?
Yes! Toledo weather going to be lit during testing week. A hundo P chance of success. You've got this, kids. Steve, how about that traffic? Are we looking
better than we're talking turn. FOMO won't be an issue.
How did I miss that? Oh my God. I know we talked about this earlier, but I didn't expect it to be that cringeworthy.
That's exactly what it was. I mean,
and by the way, I'm pro cringe. That might have been too much even for us at the beat.
Honestly, I just can't. I mean, I watched that, and it's too painful to watch, and you don't know whether to laugh or
cry.
I mean,
Can you help us, Just Blaze? I mean, you're pretty cool and you hang out and work with a lot of cool people. What's the secret to not ending up like that?
Just stay in your lane.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, you know, like I've always, my contemporaries, you know, I'm not like most of them. You know what I mean? In the sense that my interests are different. You know, my hobbies are different. My regular everyday life.
You work with Kanye, but you're not living Kanye's life.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But there's no love lost in that. We both, our differences are what make us special, and what makes our collaborative efforts work. That. I don't even know what to call that. It's just, you know, people, when you're trying to identify with millennials or just with another generation period, it's just, it rarely ends well. And that's the reason, that's a perfect example of why.
Yeah.
You don't want anything to feel forced. When I'm with these guys, I play my role, they play their role. Nobody's looking at each other sideways. We are who we are.
Right.
And the respect is mutual. You know?
And that's true even when you're with Beyonce.
Yeah, you know,
you don't try to be Beyonce when you might be producing.
No, you know, she comes to me and says, "I have something you need to do," or I come to her and say, "I have a record that you need to sing." You know, we play our roles respectively, and that's that. I'm not up there doing the bootylicious dance on stage. That's not my role.
I think there's a way to speak to your audience without being condescending, and I totally agree with that. I think there's a way, you know, you can connect with young viewers and get the message across, but not be patronizing and condescending. You know?
Yeah.
Like, who do they think? Here's what I'm trying to figure out. There's always a meeting that happens before these things happen, right? So somebody in this meeting ran through this script
and co-signed it.
Yes,
you're right. That's how it works.
Right.
Well, this was something that I didn't know about until you brought it to us. We've talked about why you shouldn't hunt animals that are asleep, and you probably shouldn't do that, whatever that was. Ayman Mohyeldin, Just Blaze. Thanks for being. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.